Hey you guys, it's your girl T. So I'm rocking my hair straight right now and I'm rocking a little goddess headband. But I wanted to come on here and do a review on the Whitney Houston biopic. A lot of people have been asking me to do that. As you guys know, I've been keeping up with the story since its inception, with all the drama with Bobby Christina and Angela Bassett. And then I even got a chance to be at the movie when I had moved to LA. And I found my scene. It was the part where they were at the Soul Train Music Awards and Bobby Brown is dancing and everything else. We were there. We were there to watch Arlen, who was playing Bobby Brown. We watched him dance and we watched the stand-in do the same thing over and over for literally an hour. So it was crazy, but I didn't get to see myself on TV. I didn't get to see none of my friends because it looks like from the angle when they shot the crowd, all you saw were lights beaming back, so you really couldn't see any of the audience members. But it was literally about 200 of us there in the audience, and we had such a good time that day. And it was really cool to get a chance to meet Angela Bassett, Yaya DaCosta, Arlen, Deborah Cox. We ran into her. Ralph Tresvant was there. So it was really a good production, a good vibe. Everybody, got along well. People were just generally really, really nice there on set. And I had a good time. That was my first time ever on a movie set. And I will always cherish those memories. So anyways, before I get started on the recap, I want to remind you guys that I have two channels. So I have Lovelyti 2002 and Lovelyti 2013 because people always ask me, well, how come you didn't post the video over here, or I just happen to find this video? Do you have two channels? Lovelyti 2013 is more for like crazy news stories and recaps, and Lovelyti 2002 is more for anything concerning celebrities. So those are my two channels, so make sure you guys subscribe to both. I just had to announce that because I have a lot of new subscribers who are unaware that I have two channels. So anyways, back to the recap. So I really enjoyed the movie. I felt like Angela Bassett did a great job in her directorial debut. I felt that she did really good. And I liked the fact that it was fair and balanced. They didn't make Whitney out to be an angel. They showed that she was getting high way before she met Bobby Brown. And it almost seemed like she kind of turned him on to drugs, if anything. But I really kind of liked, the whole dynamic, how they focused on her and Bobby. I really think that the movie should have been called the Bobby and Whitney story because they focused on them so much, as opposed to like Whitney's career or Whitney's early life. Like I didn't really learn anything new about her early life, how she came up in the church and how she used to sing with her mom and things like that. They didn't touch on that too heavy. They mainly focused on the relationship between her and Bobby, which I thought was cool. It was really cool to see this little black love story unfold. And it really showed Bobby Brown in a really good light because for so many years, and even Whitney unfortunately threw him under the bus on the Oprah Winfrey Show, but for so many years they were always talking about he's the bad boy of R&B and he turned Whitney on to drugs, and if it wasn't for him, Whitney would have been okay and all this other stuff. So I'm glad that Angela Bassett took it to another direction. And Yaya DaCosta did such a good job in that movie. She really put her all into it. She really embodied Whitney. And the music was on point. I was kind of nervous when I heard that Deborah Cox was going to be singing Whitney's songs because we all know Whitney's one of the best singers in the world. And not too many people can emulate Whitney's pitch, Whitney's sound. But Deborah Cox nailed it. There were times when I saw Yaya on stage lip singing, I heard Deborah Cox's voice. I couldn't tell if it was Deborah Cox or Whitney. It sounded that good. She really, really did an amazing job putting her vocals onto the project, and I'm glad that they were able to do that. I think if Wendy Williams sat there and watched it like we all did this past Sunday, I hope Wendy Williams was taking notes when she decides to do her next directing project, because this is how you make a Lifetime movie. What she did with the Aaliyah project was just a joke. She could have did the same thing that Angela Bassett did, had somebody sing Aaliyah's vocals and everything else, but Wendy decided to take the lazy route, and damn well her ass was on Twitter reading all them positive tweets like this. How you doing? So I just think the movie was good. A lot of people said that the movie lacked a lot of depth because, like I said, they didn't really talk about Whitney's early beginnings and they focused a lot on her and Bobby and everything else. So yeah, there was some lack of depth there, but I felt like she really showed, the true essence of Whitney for what she could. At the end of the day, what do you expect from a Lifetime movie? This is not like a big blockbuster movie with like a huge, production budget. They did what they could do, and I think she did an awesome job given, the tools that she had to work with. And the actor who played Bobby Brown, Arlen, he did such a good job. And when he took off that shirt, I was like, Lord. I was like, get it, Arlen. So he did a really good job being, you know, the sexy bad boy. I mean, when they would argue, when they would, you know, make love, it was just really realistic. And, you know, I just thought that him and Yaya did a wonderful job, you know, embodying both of those characters. So the movie did basically clear up a lot of things, you know, that I thought about Whitney. I did learn a few more things. Like, I never knew she had a miscarriage before she had Bobby Christina, you know, and things like that. I think for me, I was kind of disappointed in the ending. I felt like it just kind of cut off way too quick. You know, I felt like, I understand they didn't want to go into her death and how she died. I understand that. But I kind of felt like it just kind of cut off and we were kind of left in limbo and everybody was sitting around like, is it over? You know what I'm saying? So, and then they kind of were like, oh, well, she died in, you know, 2012 and that was it. So I didn't really like the ending. I felt like it ended too abruptly. I felt like there might be a part 2 or something like that, even though I know there's not going to be a part 2. So that's the only part that I would say kind of bothered me, was how it kind of ended. But the cool part is, after the Whitney Houston movie ended, Sean Robinson did an interview with Bobby Brown, and when I tell you, Bobby Brown was on there looking like a bootleg version of Cedric the Entertainer. Him and Cedric the Entertainer could be brothers. So it was really cool though to see Bobby come on, and Bobby, you can tell he's definitely aged, he's definitely matured, he's calmed down a lot, and he was so humble, and I respected the way he was answering the questions. He did not throw Whitney under the bus. When Sean was asking about the drug use, did he see Whitney getting high? Instead of saying, yeah, she was getting high all the time, he said we were both getting high. He took personal responsibility for the role that he played in them getting high. He took personal responsibility for the role that he played in, you know, in the demise of their marriage. He also admitted that he cheated on Whitney, but that Whitney Houston also cheated on him. So she wasn't this innocent angel that a lot of people try to, you know, make her out to be. So she had her faults and she was human like we're all human. So I really want to give Bobby Brown kudos for that interview. I think he did a wonderful job. You know, what kind of tripped me out is on Twitter, he does not have a verified account. And I'm like, how the hell does Karachi Tran have a verified account for being Chris Brown's girlfriend? But Bobby Brown, the OG of R&B, Bobby Brown put so much work in the industry. He had really good songs. He was part of New Edition. Why is he not verified? What's up with that? You know what I mean? So I don't know. But I think Bobby Brown did a really good job in that interview. So with the good and the, you know, and the praises and everything like that, also comes the bad. And today, Pat Houston decided to blast the biopic. As we all know, the family has not been behind this movie at all. Bobby Christina went off on Angela Bassett during the summertime, called her a man and everything, which to me was just disgusting. She had no business talking to an elder like that. Angela Bassett put in so much work in the industry. She definitely deserves her respect. So I didn't respect Bobby Christina for coming at her like that. But Pat Houston is now blasting Angela Bassett and also blasting the production, basically saying that they just used Whitney's legacy to make money and that, you know, they didn't understand her legacy. They didn't show it in the correct format, and that basically Angela Bassett and them were a bunch of inexperienced people trying to exploit Whitney's legacy for profit. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this long letter that she wrote on the website. I want you guys to check out this letter, and I'm going to come back with the rest of my commentary. Alright, so you guys just read her long ass rant, and I understand that Pat is Whitney Houston's sister-in-law, but to me this is the pot calling the kettle black. I don't feel like Pat ever really had Whitney's best interest at heart. She sat there and watched her sister-in-law get high. You know what I mean? A lot of folks have said that she's the one who bought whoever it was that snuck into Whitney Houston's wake. They're saying that Pat snuck them in and they took the pictures of Whitney Houston in her coffin and sold it to the National Enquirer. And then before Whitney Houston could even be in the ground long enough, Pat signed up Bobby Christina and the whole family to do the Houstons. And they know damn well if Whitney was alive, they would not have been doing this reality TV show. Nobody would have been checking for any of these people. So it seems to me that Pat is only upset when other people, quote unquote, exploit Whitney Houston's legacy. You know, it's okay for the family to do it and exploit Whitney Houston and make money off of her legacy, you know what I'm saying, and talk mess and go to the media and everything else. But it's not okay when somebody else decides to do a movie. If they wanted to do their own movie with Whitney Houston, these people had more than enough money to put the funds together to shoot a big blockbuster movie. But being that they're not willing to do that, they can't get mad and shade Angela Bassett. You know, Angela Bassett was the one who was able to get the funding for the project. She directed it. She, you know, went through the casting. She put the actors together. I mean, she did her thing. Even that day when I was watching her on set, she's not one of those directors that's just sitting in director's chair. She's on stage. She's hands-on. When the one guy was messing up on some of the steps, she sat there and she started dancing. She was like, no, it goes like this. And she started, you know, doing the moves and stuff like that. So she was very hands-on in the project. She definitely handled this project with kitten gloves. And a lot of people may not know that Angela Bassett's mother died, you know, during production. And, you know, she went to the funeral and she was right back, literally the next day, back on set, you know, putting her all into this. So she lost her mother too. So, you know, I just don't agree with Pat and the family trying to blast her and say that she's using Whitney Houston and she's trying to basically exploit her legacy, especially when they've done the same thing over the years. A lot of little things that I just don't agree with the family on, but at the end of the day, they have the right to their opinion, but I just don't agree with it. I don't think it was okay for her to try and blast Angela Bassett in the project, especially when the family has not come together to put up any funds, to create their own movie, to create anything towards Whitney Houston's legacy. So to me, like I said, that's the pot calling the kettle black. So anyways, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this entire situation concerning the Whitney Houston biopic. Did you check it out on Sunday on Lifetime? What did you think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? And what did you think about the actors? How did you think, you know, Yaya DaCosta did? How did you think that Arlen did? And I think he did a really good job. And then, you know, what do you think about the movie in general? You know, do you feel like it should have been called the Whitney and Bobby story? You know, because they focused on Bobby Brown just as much as they did Whitney Houston. And also, what did you guys think about Bobby Brown's interview afterwards with Sean Robinson? Did you guys like the interview? Did you guys feel like he was open and honest? You know, how did you guys feel about Bobby Brown in general? So let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. All right, deuces.